What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, y'all? So we are back again for another episode review of The Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 4, episode 5, The Big Easy Showdown. So we pick it back up where we left off last week with Karen leaving the table after Giselle tried to confront her and being messy about not knowing her business, and her telling the girl at the ubiquitous event that, the stages that her project is in. And you have Candace, who's the only one who actually gets up and goes over there to try to see what's going on. My whole thing with this is I agree 100% with Karen. Okay, Karen literally stood there and told Candace, you're not going to know everything that's going on in my business because that's not where we're at. After all the stuff that you've done, you're not going to know what's in my business, okay? I don't feel comfortable telling you everything. And Candace even said, when you're going through a lot of stuff, you don't, you're going through business, you don't tell everybody every detail of your business and all that stuff. You don't have to do that. And to be quite frank, I wouldn't tell everybody every detail, okay? Because you don't know who to trust, and if somebody gonna try to sabotage, somebody gonna try to take this and do all this other stuff. You just don't know people's intentions, period. And then that's not, in business, everybody don't put out their plan like that just to any and everybody that has nothing to do with that business, even if it's a friend or not. Just know that I'm working on it. Just know that it's coming along, and that's all you need to know. Why do you need to know every fucking detail? And especially when we're not in a good space. So Candace calmed her down. They went back and sat down. They talked it out for a second. Here go Giselle trying to say she wasn't trying to come from be messy and all this stuff or whatever. And Karen was like, because Katie said, can't you just say, wasn't you like impressed with Giselle and her business and where it came from and the lady that, she talked to or whatever? And she was like, yes, I am. I'm proud of Giselle, and she had no problem saying that she was proud of her. She was thankful that she and let that lady come over there and talk to her because she didn't have to. And that's where it should have ended. She said, I didn't know you was gonna take offense just because this woman who is actual in the business helping me, who would need to know this information, is actually, I told her this, okay? You can't do nothing with it, so what do I need to tell you all the ins and outs of it? You know what I'm saying? But they ended it on a good note and all that stuff. And, Candace was talking about she see the strides or whatever that Giselle is making with her seeing a therapist and all that. And she was saying that she might need to see Giselle's therapist too, because growing up in the household with the therapist, you're gonna need a therapist. And she said, bitch, it gets worse. It gets worse because I had no clue that her mama was talking shit like this about her like that. That's fucked up, okay? I feel some type of way when parents be telling kids, no matter how old they are, coming out their neck at them on some shit. She was like, she was on the phone with her and she talking about somehow she embarrasses her and all this stuff, and she's a dumbass bitch, and hung up the phone on her. And I'm sitting here like, you are a medical professional at this point. You are a therapist yourself. Why do y'all come on these shows and put y'all business out here like this, knowing that you have practices that you built your life on, and people see the ins and out of how you work? I wouldn't want to be, you'll lose me as a patient. Because you shit like that, you talking to your own child like that, makes me feel like you probably breaking patient confidentiality and talking about your case and really saying exactly how you feel about your patients and all that stuff. I'd be like, bitch, I don't want to be your patient no more, okay? I'm going to have to go back and find somebody else because this ain't going to work for me. Boo-boo. Okay, we got to go somewhere else. But, on the one thing that Ashley said right that I kind of agree with, the mama need her fucking medical license revoked, because who does that? Okay, I mean, we know we human, but the mama to be a therapist, I think I heard somewhere that a lot of therapists or whatever, they are some of the most messed up people too, so she was dealing with that. Katie said, just get on the phone and call her and be like, fuck you too, bitch. She was like, nah, you can't do that. You can't do two wrongs to make a right and all that stuff. And, Monique put her little 2 cents in and said, mothers from the South, they're, if you talk to them about how you feel and it's your opinion or whatever, they look at it as a form of disrespect or whatever. So you just gonna have to deal with it at this point, because that's what she deals with when she with her mother-in-law. We think that. But moving on from that, Candace went up there with Giselle and Katie to see the presidential suite. They was just having a good time looking at the stuff, finding out that she had a piano, she plays the piano and all that stuff. Moving on from that, it got to the whole thing. They was talking about Karen, and Karen confused the hell out of me, okay? Because let me tell you something. And when I go to sleep, I put a scarf on my head. I know it don't look like it right now, but I still do to keep the moisture in, okay? I put a little do-rag on, okay? You spruce this up, because it be glistening in the morning, you know what I'm saying? You let that shit come in, and she had a little towel or something on her head. She took that shit off. I'm thinking she finna get in the bed. I thought it was like a little, little bonnet or some shit. And no, she took that shit off and she laid on there. I said, I know it's a wig and all, but still, bitch, put that bonnet back on your head so that the shit won't be looking scraggly in the morning. But okay, because black women, we don't do that shit. We don't do that shit. But anyway, they was talking about her and saying, she's going through a tough time. Karen was talking about how this is like 2 months since she lost her father, so she's still dealing. And she said maybe the trip is a little bit too much, but I think it's a good thing for her to just start getting back out there. She could still grieve in the process and still do what she got to do and have a little bit of fun, try to integrate back into with the group or whatever. Then you got them talking about whether or not, I think Katie said, I think Ashley pregnant. And she was, Candace said, that child ain't pregnant. That bitch is not pregnant. As much as she be drinking and all that stuff and you doing all this shit, she ain't pregnant. She ain't trying to get pregnant with Mike over here trying to, say this and do suck on this person stuff. No, no. I said, ooh, Candace. Okay. So, it's the next day. Katie still asleep. Giselle trying to wake her ass up. But Katie is definitely me because, look, bitch, I just woke up. Okay? Been asleep all day. All right? It is what it is. A bitch is tired. Moving on. Uh, you got what's her name? Karen and Monique, they're downstairs, they're eating breakfast, and everybody's feeling okay, they feeling better. They get to talking about how, Monique, once she gets back, they're gonna have a party for the baby called the Rainbow Party. This is gonna have a whole bunch of family over to the house, including, Chris's mother, who never been to the house. Everybody else has been to the house, but the mother has never been to the house. And she had to look up, it's called the Rainbow Party, and she had to look up what that kept on meaning, because people kept on saying oh, after her miscarriage, giving her congratulations about her rainbow baby, so she had to look up what rainbow baby meant. And it was, the baby dad happened right after a miscarriage, so she wanted to throw a party for her, and which I think is cute, like a little baby shower party and all that stuff. So they get ready to go to the plantation. They just making fun of Candace because Candace has some little booty cutters on. Here go Ash. Who goes to a plantation with booty cutters and have their ass cheeks out? Girl, shut up. Okay, just shut up. I wish they start judging each other, but that's why we watch. But anyway, so no, it's just Ashley that annoys me. That's what it is. I'm gonna just be honest. It's just Ashley that annoys me every time she say shit. But they get in the van, and they start talking about what's going to happen in the plantation, and she gonna meet her grandparents in there, her great grandparents. This is Giselle, uh and they talked about the ancestry thing, and we get some more background information, because I believe in the first season they did talk about Giselle's father, and how he was working with Martin Luther King Jr., and he was a civil rights leader, deeply in politics or whatever. So she started talking some more about that, which I found very interesting. And I enjoy shit like that. So, I appreciated that part. And then so they start talking about, lineage, and Robin ever do her ancestry lineage. And she said yes. She was a little hesitant because Katie was sitting next to her. And Katie and her had this big blow up when Katie was on the show talking about whether or not Robin was biracial, if she had this, if she had that, or if she had, was she 100%, African and ancestry and all that stuff. On the one hand, Katie was right. for her to look the way that she looks, she is not 100% African. Not on unless you come from Africa straight up. No one is, and even then, no one still is 100% African or whatever. You're mixed with something. I did my ancestry, and I'm just like Robin. I'm mixed with a lot of European and a lot of African, but I'm more African than European. So, and my African ancestry part keeps going up and going up. And if anything, those are two things that I mix with. Okay, well, that makes up my DNA. I'm not gonna say mixed with, but that makes up my DNA. So Robin found out that she's more European than she is African, and we could tell that when you look at both of her parents. Even though she said both her parents are, two African Americans, both her parents have high percentage of European ancestry in their DNA. She's 59% European, and then what is it, 61%. Nope, that ain't even a thing. 49. What is it? 41. Bitch, get the shit together. 41% African. It is what it is. It is what it is, and she learned that, but she did say the difference between her and Katie is the fact that Katie is actually biracial, meaning that she has an African American parent and a Caucasian parent. So I said, yeah, I get that. But what Katie was trying to say was that you do have some European in you, and she was correct on that. So moving on from that, they get to the plantation. They see her father, Giselle's father, and she let them know they still having a dinner for him for his birthday, but he don't know that it's a dinner, a surprise dinner or whatever for him. So the party or whatever for him. So they gonna surprise him with that. That was cute. He, for his age, he's 80 years old, he's a good looking man. And Candace was like, I see where you are your father, and I see where Giselle get it from, the arrogance, the proudness, the humor and all that stuff. That's her daddy right there. And so they going around at the Whitney Plantation. It's a slave museum, and they're looking at, the documents on slavery and some of the torture devices that they use to try to keep them in line, the chains on the neck and the collars, and talking about a box that was, some slaves was put in for days and sitting in their own waste on another plantation. I hate hearing stuff like this, but I'm also fascinated by it, because it's history and we have to know where we come from. So it was interesting. So, they just continue to go across the plantation, and they get to the whole thing about Giselle's lineage, and we get to meet her, see photos of her is it great or great grandfather and grandmother, his mother, his great grandfather, mother, all that, her family, girl. When you get into the greats, it was heartbreaking because basically products of rape, and getting into the slave master and the owners, and when the mistress of the house husband died, she needed some money at one point. She had to put some things up for collateral, and the daddy said to Karen, you know what collateral mean? I said, bitch, me and Monique was like, what? Why you single her out? Of all people, I said Giselle been talking to her daddy about Karen, girl. But anyway, so they get into talking about that, and how the slave mistress she didn't want them to leave because those were her family, because she didn't have any kids and stuff like that or whatever. The part that really got me, was the whole thing with the angels and the kids that died. Over 2,000 kids died either from stillbirth, or being stillborn, and sickness and stuff like that. And how once you turn 10 years old, they put you into the field. You stop being a kid. Then they start going to the memorial of all the slave names, over 107,000 slave names and testimonials on the walls and stuff like that. And how they still whip pregnant women, which I'm not surprised. I shouldn't be surprised, but the way that they did it, digging a hole to put their bellies in so that the baby won't get harmed, but you still whoop the mom on the back and stuff like that. That was crazy. So they just enjoyed themselves, and it was an educational moment. And I feel like every African American and African need to know these things, okay? Especially over here, we need to know our history. We should, visit some plantations and get a feel for it, because some of the stuff they don't tell us, especially our kids today, they don't put it in the history books the way that they need to be, and then in the details or whatever. They try to sugarcoat it and gloss over it. You know what I'm saying? We just had I don't know where was it at, but a teacher just came under got, I don't know if she got fired, but she in trouble for, reenacting a slave auction in the schoolroom, and putting the two little black kids up for slave auction, and then having them to call the other ones master and stuff like that. I said, who the fuck does that? This elementary school, little fourth graders. Like, you don't do that. You don't traumatize the kid, okay? That's never a good thing. Anyway, so they had a good time. And, Giselle's daddy said this was something that he wanted to do with his kids, bring his kids down there all the time. But he wanted, he knew that they weren't going to really get anything at the age that they were. You have to be an adult to actually fully understand what was going on. And so, he appreciated that time. And I was like, that's cool. So everybody's about to get ready to go out for the night. Giselle, she got some Mardi Gras mask or whatever that she wants everybody to put on. Even though it's not Mardi Gras out there in New Orleans, so she said, "Bitch, we finna do it up." I don't have no problem with it, but everybody's trying to get in contact with their spouses. Monique on the phone talked to her husband, and Ashley showing Giselle what she wearing and all that stuff. Did y'all hear at the beginning when Ashley said she gonna go back home, and she gonna, cause her period came, cause she told her mama that her period had showed up that morning, but she said she gonna go home and she gonna ride Michael like a crocodile. Bitch, listen, I don't have time. I don't need the imagery, okay? Anyway, moving on from that, we have Karen, who said that she's not gonna go because she was surrounded by too much stuff. She was talking to Daddy, Ray, on the phone, and she was just saying that, it was just too much, and, she's still in the process of grieving. Okay. Now here's my take on this, because at one point, she told the girls that she wasn't gonna go. She didn't want to be a Debbie Downer, so she didn't want to mess up their time, and she's grieving this a little much or whatever. Grief, this is what Giselle don't understand. And I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay. Here's the thing. I can understand how Giselle may look at it as if she was lying about not wanting to come out with y'all because she's grieving. Grief comes in different forms. People handle grief different ways. Karen did not say she was just going to stay upstairs in her room and not do nothing. What's wrong with her getting on Instagram Live and interacting with her followers or whatever? Maybe she needed a change of scenery. Maybe she just, needed to vent that way or whatever. Grief comes in different forms. People handle it different ways. I don't think that she was lying just because she said she didn't want to come out. Everybody don't want to go partying all the damn time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can understand how Giselle may have thought that she was lying about, now just using the grief thing as an excuse, but just because she got on Instagram Live don't mean that it's not real. You know what I'm saying? So I just wasn't really here for that shit. And, you're projecting a lot of stuff because you know that you were wrong in what you did, and you caused this rift in your relationship. So therefore, you're taking everything to heart right about now, Giselle, because this is your fault. Okay? You did this. You did this. I'm just saying. You put this rift in your relationship. It is what it is. So she felt away about that. I'm like, girl, chill out. So the girls go out. They have a good time. Of course, everybody doing shots. And Ashley keep on saying, don't tell my husband that I'm doing shots, because I said they weren't going to do shots and all this stuff. They go back to the hotel. It reminded me, because Giselle had that goddamn wig on. It reminded me of that scene in Girls Trip when they was down there in New Orleans, and they all had those wigs on in that bar, and they got into that fight. That's what it reminded me of. But they had a good time, so no complaints here. They go back to Giselle's penthouse hotel, presidential suite, and they have a good time. They continue on. Ashley and Candy's probably the drunkest of the group, and Katie. But Candace pull out some more liquor. and they just start having shots all over, okay? Then Giselle pours out a whole bunch of beads. She like, hey, I'm finna throw some beads, and then you got Katie trying to pour down Ashley little thing so we can see her tits or whatever. We do see a little boobage, and she gets some beads, and then Katie went over the head, poured hers down. She was like, bitch, fuck this shit. I'm all natural. I breastfed and everything. Little kids, my shit, you know. And Candace started talking about Chris and how they had sex. They consummated their relationship, their wedding with a condom, and all that shit. And she was like, she ain't trying to get pregnant right now. She's fertile myrtle. She ain't trying to do that. And he was like, everybody's fertile at your age. And then Ashley said, well, apparently not so, not me. And then Katie goes and says, well, Candace don't believe that you trying to get pregnant. Wait a minute, so you said that you don't believe that I'm trying to get pregnant, Candace? Candace said, who doesn't? I said, wait a minute, that's up there with Portia. Who said that? I said, bitch, here we go. So basically, Ashley gets in her feelings because Candace basically saying like, you shouldn't be drinking that much. If I'm trying to get pregnant, you shouldn't be drinking. And surprisingly, you have Monique somewhat coming to the defense of Ashley, saying it doesn't matter. You know, she's seen many people get knocked up when they get drunk and stuff like that. And, you know, even when her and Chris was trying to get pregnant, you know, they still went out and they drank socially, you know, not heavy, but they still had their little wine here and wine there, whatever. It's about the person's journey. You can't really judge that. And, you know, they was like, do you really think that she's trying to get pregnant or don't want to get pregnant? And Ken's like, I don't know, but if I'm trying to get pregnant, I wouldn't be drinking at all. That's your journey, okay? There's no way that it says that you're not supposed to drink at all. But at the end of the day, Ashley, it's hard for me to feel 100% bad for Ashley because Ashley is now getting everything that she put out to Monique. Okay? You judged her for drinking. You judged her for this. You implied a lot of stuff. So now you're getting that heat back. Okay? Now you're in the hot seat. So you just got to fucking take it at this point. Do I feel it's right that Candace was trying to say that you like Candace? Just say you don't like the bitch, okay? Just say you don't like the bitch. That's all. That's all, because a lot of people get drunk. I've known some people who got fucked up, and that's how they realized that they was fucking pregnant, okay? Because they slipped up one night, got drunk as shit, and had a good time without a rubber, okay? And that's how they knew they got pregnant, bitch. Drugs and all, okay? So, girl, just say you don't like the bitch, and we'll be all good, okay? It is what it is. Y'all tell me how y'all feel, and I will see y'all later. Peace.